So for a frame of reference, the fireworks festival that happened in some of the videos that were happening last were on Friday night, and it's now Saturday. It's about 5 a.m. and I haven't slept at all. So when I was leaving the fireworks festival, I just started bullshitting with this American guy that was walking next to me, dude named Ted. And he's from Pennsylvania, and he's here on an academic program with his God, I'm tired, with his physics department, and he's doing some stuff with Tohoku University and stuff, which is a really good science university here in Japan. So we just started talking and wandering around, and he ended up missing his last train, and my backpack was in a coin locker, ended up getting locked in the train system. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna stay out all night. So we both just came to the conclusion, if I will just stay out all night. So there was a surprising number of people that just stayed out all night, and they were walking around their yukatas and drinking and just whatever, having a good time, blah, blah, blah. And we walked around and watched the drunk people and so forth, and then ended up in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., hiking up this hill that's like just outside of Sendai, and then got a view of the city and everything, and it was cool. We had a real romantic little evening there. But now I want to get to Aomori Canyon. Like I said yesterday, that completely failed. So I'm hoping that it's super early now. I don't think there's going to be a Matsuri happening. Like, there's not going to be a festival happening right now because it's 5 in the morning. And hopefully the highways will all be opened, and I'm hoping to be able to get a ride now out of the city so I can escape Sendai once and for all. Not that I don't like Sendai, but I'm here a little longer than I wanted to be, even though it did work out to be a pretty cool evening. The problem being that I am now going to be stupid tired and in a car ride with like strangers, and then they're going to be like, oh, let's, you know, talk, and probably in Japanese. I'm just like, I don't know if I can summon that mental energy. So, and then the Matsuri that I want to see in Aomori is at nighttime. So if everything goes perfect, I'll get there and be super tired. So we're gonna see what happens. I think there's a good chance I'm gonna end up in a proper hotel tonight if there's any opened, which I'm a little worried about because there's a huge Matsuri going on. But if not, it's gonna be pretty easy to fall asleep on the street at this point, especially if I don't fall asleep like in the car and trying to have a conversation with a stranger. Funny I just mentioned fall asleep on the street because the person in front of me right now is a person on the street and they're asleep. I'm out of Sendai. I'm so happy and I'm so tired at the same time. So this dude came and just started like chatting with me, and he was like, oh, I'm going to Tokyo, you know, I can't take you, I'm sorry. And he was trying to figure out like, oh, where'd be a good place to stand, where'd be a place to stand, and this car pulls up, and it's an elderly couple, or not elderly, they were retired. I wouldn't even go as far as say elderly. And he said he retired 5 years ago, so. And they were just the coolest people I've ever met. Like, I'm so surprised, I guess. I think that strange people aren't gonna pick me up. It's just gonna be people that are like really level-headed and chill. I think that's the type of person that's just gonna be like, let's do this thing. Except for the one guy that climbed on top of all the boxes in his car. That was a little strange, but it wasn't like ridiculously strange. But these people were just so lovely. It's like they're those people that, like, you know, you've got that friend that's got those parents that are just like the coolest people. That's who I just rode with. I rode with those people, and they were just awesome. And I'm 150 kilometers up the road towards Aomori. So I don't think I'm quite halfway, but it's pretty damn close to halfway. So the best news is I'm at a service area on the highway, so catching another ride is probably not gonna be too tough. I forgot to mention how long it took to get out of Sendai. So I started standing there probably, oh man, I don't remember. Maybe it was like 5:30 or 6-ish, I think. I probably said in the video, and now I'm just gonna be like, no, but it was something like that, 5:30 or 6 or something. And I think I got picked up, and I get so excited I forget to look at my clock. But I got picked up at probably 7:30 or something, so it took quite a while. But the main problem that I had today was just flat out nobody was driving by because it was 5 in the morning. And the people that were going by were all groggily eyed and they weren't trying to deal with me. So yeah, I think going out super early doesn't really get a whole lot accomplished, but I was awake, so, you know, whatever. And it kind of worked out today because much better than yesterday, I think, like, and as in I got out of the city, was because that Matsuri thing wasn't happening, and I got to stand in a place that was way more accessible to like every pattern of traffic that was going in. That was like I couldn't get there yesterday, so I think that kind of take it. I think I just got caught in a storm, like, of the perfect disaster that kept me from getting a ride that in turn turned out to be really awesome because I had a really good night just hanging out and enjoying the Matsuri that was there. And if everything goes cool, I'll still get to see the one in Aomori, so everything will work out. I'm in Aomori Ken, which is like the prefecture of the city Aomori that I'm trying to get to with the festival and everything, so I'm closing in. I'm gonna make it, like, I'm gonna call it now and make it there with no problem. And I don't even think it's noon yet. And I'm kind of getting close, but I'm at a parking area, not a service area, and the parking areas are much smaller, so there's hardly anybody here. But I think in a way that'll kind of play, I think it's possible it plays in your favor, because the people feel more obligated, I think, to help when there's not like a bazillion people. When there's like tons of cars, they're like, ah, somebody else can help, somebody else can help, somebody else can help. But when there's not very many people, I think that it's like kind of turns up the heat. Like, oh well, I should probably help that guy. So I'm kind of hoping that theory holds true. And I just had a ride with a family, and they have this huge van, and every year they go to Hokkaido in the van. And it was an 8-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then of course their parents, and they're awesome, duh. And they were just telling me about different places in Hokkaido, and just they're adventurous people. And he said that he's worked for Lenovo for so long that they have gotten to the point where they give him like a month off. Like, so he's like, oh, we just go when we get this big family trip every month, or when I have a chance, you know, to do that. And usually it's not a whole month, but I guess this year he got a special bonus of some sort. I mean, that's like unheard of in Japan. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's such a cool bonus. And the family was just so tight knit, and like just, it was so jovial. Like the 2-year-old was making a fuss, and everybody's just like laughing, and you know, it's just like, it was just a really cool thing to be a part of for that brief time that I got to be a part of it. And they're not going all the way into Aomori, so they're dropping me off at the parking area that's before their exit. So that's why I've ended up here, and there's certainly worse places to be because the view of these trees, and we came over this mountain and the weather got really cool. Like, not cold, but the humidity has dropped, and it's just really nice. And there's actually a walking entrance built into this parking area, so I can walk down into this little town that's right here, and they've got like a bunch of onsens and stuff. So I think if I had to go talk to somebody to get a ride or something outside of this little area, that would be something I could do possibly, but I doubt I'm going to need to. I think it might be a bit of a wait, but I have a lot of time, so it's all right. And now I'm almost alone in this little parking area. There was a few cars here. They all left except for this one over here, like this one, yeah. And that's like a couple of people in their 20s, and they just went in the woods together. Maybe there's a place to go that you're supposed to be, or maybe they're just getting their funk on. I don't know. I'm not gonna go over there and bother them, even though I kind of want to be like, yo, take me to Aomori. That's the most useless thing that could have possibly shown up. They're not gonna give me a free ride. It's about 1:30, I'm in Aomori. So I did that, it's amazing. Made pretty good ground today and pretty good time, to be honest. Really happy. And once you get on the highway, man, it just cooks. So I was at that rest stop where there was nobody, and a dude came and picked me up probably after about a 20-minute wait. And then he drove me straight into Aomori and brought me straight to the train station. And he is actually from here, telling me all about the festival, like where I should be, and like, I am set to go now. The problem is I'm really tired. And I just did basically 6 hours of riding in a car in pure Japanese mode, and that's like twice as tiring as normal conversation. It's just brutal. And I feel like I'm just like slipping back and forth between languages at this point. And like, you remember I didn't sleep last night. So, and he was telling me like, yeah, so nobody in this town is gonna sleep tonight. He said it's gonna be crazy. So I'm like, I gotta sleep, man. Like, I gotta find a way to do this. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. It's about 1:30. The festival thing starts at 6. Got a few hours to figure something out. First thing I'm gonna do is find me a bathroom and then try to figure out a way to put my bag somewhere, and then maybe see if I can hunt down some sort of hotel. I don't think so though. He was like, the population doubles in this city tonight. So I don't know, but he did say that the night is the night for the festival to be kicking. So I made the perfect, like it's just landing out perfect. So if I'm not asleep during the festival. By the way, Aomori is right on the coast, and that means that I'm getting really close to Hokkaido, and that was kind of the goal of this whole trip. Like, can I get to Hokkaido? And I don't think you can see it in the haze, but it's just over there. So this is looking pretty solid. Because if I have to hitch a ride to get to Hokkaido, is going to require probably buying a ticket on a train or on a boat. Because I don't know, it feels a little weird to hitch a ride on a ferry with somebody, but maybe I'll try. I don't know. I guess the problem with that is if a whole ferry leaves without getting you on, you're like waiting for the next ferry, and I don't know, maybe that's hours. That seems like it could be silly. I should just drop the money and go. Oh, in my delirious state, I forgot to mention that every hotel in this town is booked, so this is the second night in a row I won't sleep anywhere. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm really tired. So, they got a pyramid here. This festival is starting to kick off, and it feels not like a normal Japanese festival. It feels really unique, and it feels like they're really interested in having everybody that comes be a participant in it. So they have like a special type of clothing here that they're wearing for the festival that is kind of like a yukata, but it's like completely cut differently and has different like ornamentation on it and stuff. And everybody's walking around with like these like sacks of bells hanging on them, so they're like jingling when they're walking and stuff. And I saw an area where it was like, oh, if you want to buy this like little outfit, and it wasn't like an extravagant, like a ridiculous price. It was like a affordable price. If you want to buy this thing, you can wear it around. And I've seen a bunch of like, I don't know if they're tourists or not, but I've seen foreigners that have been walking around wearing this clothing and stuff. And you see that every once in a while when you go to other festivals in Japan, but usually those people are tied to the community somehow, like maybe they're teachers or maybe they just live in the community and have kind of gotten into the community around there, so they've gotten that opportunity. But here it's like they're like anybody can be a participant, and they're totally cool with it. And I walked by the train station. There's like a million people getting off the train, and they gave me a little bell, like so I could have a little bell too. So they were handing these out to everybody that walked by. So I got a little bell, and then these dudes were kicking it off with these traditional stringed instruments, and those instruments were really awesome. And it was interesting because it didn't seem like they were playing them in a traditional manner, because it was very structured and there was like hard pauses and stuff in it, and it was really exciting, and they were almost showboating, but like in a good way. Like it wasn't like, oh god, who are these guys? It was like everybody in the crowd was kind of on a joke and stuff. It was a really awesome performance. So I'm excited to see what else we can find at this Matsuri, because they have these giant floats that I saw earlier, and they're going to be running them up and down the street in a little while, and I think it's going to be amazing. As you can see in the shots, they says that they're sponsored by different places, like Panasonic sponsors one and JR sponsors one, and some of them are sponsored by like a group of other companies and things like that. And I found that interesting because usually when I've seen festivals that are similar to this, where they have a big floats that they run around the city, they're usually representative of a temple or a shrine or something. And I'm not sure if these are, or if they're just strictly sponsored by companies. And maybe it's because they're so big and so expensive to like keep going that it's like not something that you can do just with the money that temples and shrines can bring in. Or maybe the companies are giving money to the temple and shrine. The temple and shrine is then going to all the trouble to get it all constructed, and then gets to put the company's name on the thing. So it's like a joint venture. But needless to say, these warehouses are huge, these float things are huge, and I'm excited to see what they look like when they're rolling on the street. the warehouses are empty now. Something really exciting about that. No surprise, but this place has kind of got like a parade thing going on, the way that they've got the streets blocked off and all the people are sitting in chairs and stuff, and it's really crowded as people are walking along and everything, and they're moving the floats out into the starting position. And I'm not really clear on the route, so I'm just sort of following them, and I hope I get to a place where I get to see some action. If there is action. Is there action? What's gonna happen? I have no idea. That is a sweet wiener dog. Wait a second, is that Curious George? What? Apparently you can get reserved seats, and earlier somebody told me that they're pretty expensive, like 5,000 yen, like 50 bucks or something for like reserved seats. I'm not sure if that's like a global thing or for good seats or bad seats or anything, but like I guess you gotta clunk down some cash. I wonder who gets that, like the sidewalk people? Like who takes that cash, you know? Who's claiming that land? These people stepped up the game. In addition to their unique clothing that they're wearing, some of the people are wearing some pretty wicked headgear too. It can sometimes be kind of hard to tell when festivals start because like they keep moving things around and like shutting roads down and moving things around and shutting things down, and I haven't heard any drums played yet, and the drums keep going by with everything, so I'm thinking that's when it'll start. But it's still amazing to see this huge parade of people. And they're all wearing this cool stuff, and like, I don't know, man, this is exciting. These are like energy drinks, and I think they're at the very front of the parade. Those people had, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, but I'm basically in the street now. I just followed some brave ladies. She was like, oh, I think we can go over here. I was like, all right, let's do this shit. Well, this is amazing. Unbelievable. It's so cool how the Nebuta move. They built them on these wheels, and there's like a group of guys underneath of it that work together, and they call out like the moves that they're gonna go back and forth, and it makes it dance almost. It's just unreal, and it came like swinging into my face at one point, and it was just like, oh, it's like right there. It was right there, and it was amazing. Controlled chaos of this. It's like so much effort has been put forth to make sure that all these people are working together to make this thing, giant thing, move in a certain direction, and all these people are marching together and playing the same thing on the instruments and everything. And then at the same time, it's almost like this explosions of like people just running around doing whatever they want, and you'll see people stop playing their instrument and then walk around, like hang out with their friend or dance, and then start playing it again. And there's people walking back and forth across the street, like in the middle of all this, that aren't like part of every group. They're just like walking around, and like it's all just very like chill, and it's all working, and it's this like controlled. It's this controlled chaos. I think it's the best way I can explain it, and it's wonderful. So it turns out that people aren't like assigned to the group, like the people that are dancing and stuff. They're not assigned to the group. The people that are walking back and forth, just like along the road, they get kind of like wrangled into the like roped off area where all the people that are dancing and singing are. And I saw some guys that were like running the rope, they're carrying the rope, and when they would see a cute girl, they would lift it up and like point, like come in, come in, come in, come in. And then the girls would go in or not, I guess, depending on how cute the boy is. And this is happening. Man, that makes me want to hit the game center, y'all. Anyway, point being, like, if you want to, and you're like, you know, up for it, you just can kind of jump in. Like, there's no club. It's like, if you're wearing the clothes, go in. And I'm sure if you weren't wearing the clothes, go in. I don't know. Everybody's wearing the clothes. Safely say I've never seen anything remotely like this before. It's one of the coolest, if not the coolest Matsuri I've ever seen. And I don't want to discount its incredibleness, because it certainly is incredible. But being sleep deprived and then like that happening, there's something like twisted it a little bit. I'm almost like I'm on drugs or something. Walked like about a block away from the main strip where all this is, but they kind of run like a circle or a square around this area, and now you can hear the drums coming from like every direction, and it's like kind of in the distance, but it's like thunder or fireworks or invading Native Americans or something. I don't know. Was that racist? I shouldn't have said that, right? I think this big purple triangle is part of the tourism something. It's like some sort of tourism building. So I think I'm gonna try to go up in it, if it's free, and see if I can see a view of like what's happening from the inside of it. I don't even know if it's open. I do know that there's an up. Damn it. This triangle is just stuffed full of omiyage shops. It's like souvenirs and stuff. Huge business in Japan, but it's like they've like built a temple to it. And now they're parking it, and it barely fits in the building. It's like squeezing an airplane into a hangar or something. It's amazing. Well, I found a bench. That's where I'm gonna chill until I can find an open hotel. So, or until it's probably the sun's gonna come up and roast me. That's what happens when you sleep outside like this. So I'm gonna be up at like 4 in the morning, but let's see, what time is it now? About 10:37, so whatever. If I get a couple hours of sleep, I'll be fine. Just had a really weird thing happen. There's a lot of people here that, it's like they're young and drunk and kind of annoying. And I've just had people like, not yelling belligerent things at me, just kind of just being obnoxious. And I've been just playing back with it, like it hasn't been a big deal, but there's obviously maybe like a country people vibe or something. Like they're clearly not, it's not Tokyo, they're not used to like, you know, giant foreigner or whatever. To be fair, I've talked to some people and they've been totally cool too. Like they've just been like, oh, where are you from? And like some people came up to me and they were like, oh, I saw you hitchhiking a couple days ago, and like it was totally chill, like dudes were awesome. And but I was just this is a weird story. Okay, so I was just in the public bathroom. I was at the urinal, and this guy comes in and he stands with, there's one urinal between us, like there's a whole bunch of them on the wall, and he's just staring at my junk, like, and he's not a weird looking person. He's like a normal looking young Japanese guy, and he stares at it. I look at him and he looks away, you know, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude, you want to stare at a white guy's junk, like whatever you do, you do. And like he keeps looking at me and keeps looking at me and keeps looking at me, and I eventually yelled at him in Japanese, like, it's just like, stop staring, like what are you doing? Like, and he was just like, oh, I wasn't looking, and I was just like, dude, you're an oddball. And he just like kind of ran out the door basically. Like I was just like, what? It's never gotten to the point, like sometimes you catch people like giving a glimpse. I mean, that happens everywhere, but like I think it happens, I don't know if it's just I notice it here, but I mean, you catch people just getting a peek, you know what I mean? It's different, I guess, is what's going on. I don't know, but I've never had somebody like I mean, like, if my dick committed a crime and like he had to go to the police and like give a sketch artist like a description, like they'd pick my dick up in like 5 minutes. That's how much this guy was staring at me. Like, okay, I've been awake like for 37 or 38 hours. It's sleepy time. Alright, so like a minute after I finished making that other video, I was like just laying here looking at my tablet for a couple of minutes. And I looked down, when I came and sat down over here, there was this couple sitting over there and they were just talking or whatever. And like they're on this long bench, and I'll put a picture in right now. The video is too dark, but the photo will come out. So I'll put a picture here and you'll see I'm pointing at where they were sitting, okay? So that's where they were sitting. This video is getting like X-rated, by the way, like all of a sudden. But anyway, so like I'm just sitting here looking at my tablet, blah blah blah. And remember earlier I said everybody has those bells? Like I start hearing a bell moving a lot, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is there a bear coming or something? What's up with the bell, you know? So I just, you know, glanced over there and like she's topless, like completely. She was wearing that like that, not yukata, but the type of dress thing that they were wearing here, and she's like basically topless. Or no, not basically, she is. She's completely topless. I couldn't see her front side of her, but like it was very clear she was completely exposed. And like he was, you know, he had to wash his hand when they were finished, and that whole thing happened. And no way, there's no way they didn't think I saw. Like, they know I saw. There's no chance. Like, she turned and looked at me, essentially, and made eye contact with me. And they just kept doing their thing and then ran off. Where am I? What's going on? Why are these things happening? Like, I've been in Japan for 5 years, and, like, in the last 20 minutes, I've had more, like, oddball stuff happen than I had in the entire 5 years, like in the last 20 minutes at this like place. And I know it's a bunch of young kids and they're like intoxicated or whatever, but I mean, I've been in those situations in Japan too before, and I never like saw what is happening? Am I gonna wake up and I've dreamt this all? Like, is it what the hell is happening? And I didn't even bring this up. I forgot about this. Oh, earlier I was over by the pier and there was a group of girls, and like one of them was very actively trying to get all of her friends to take a picture, like flashing the camera, and it ended up with only bras out. And like, this doesn't happen in any place I've been in Japan before. This is all new stuff. So I don't know, is this, people that know about Aomori, is there some sort of like debauchery or something going on in this area? Because it does seem like there is. I've been here for like 3 hours, or well, I guess it's been 7 or 8 hours, but I've seen what? He does look good.
This is Zilla.
Do you want to? Where'd you get Zilla?
He just showed up in the mail while Eric was in Hokkaido.
When I was in Sendai, I went into not a convenience store, a game center, and they had a bunch of these things inside of the catcher machine things, and I was like, well, that's got to happen. So I found one on the internet and mailed it to her.
He didn't win it from the machine. This isn't like some sort of carnival, like, oh, he's so good at playing those games. This is, wow, he's really good at the internet.
That's basically what it is.
That he knows that I like Godzilla.
I use the internet catcher. But anyway,
Caught.
Yeah, absolutely. He's amazing. Anyway, so this was the video about the Aomori Nebuta Matsuri, and I shot this like a month and a half ago, and ever since then I've been super excited to share it with everybody, because I just thought it was like this. It was unbelievable, and I went back and I just today finished editing the sequence of all the festival activities and everything, and I'm really happy with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. It was a hell of an experience, and it's one of the things. There were a few moments. There was quite a few moments, but there were a few like specific moments on this hitchhiking trip where I was super happy to be where I was, but simultaneously bummed that Katie wasn't there with me, and this was totally one of those times. Like. Are you bummed you weren't there, or are you just like, whatever?
For a good majority of it, yes.
Oh man. But
well,
anyway.
That's just an honest answer, not a...
Yeah. But yeah, this festival was amazing, and I hope that the footage came across how unbelievable it was and everybody enjoyed it. And if you liked it, like, please, like button or thumbs up button. I still don't know which one it is. There's not two. There's only one of them.
It's flaking.
It's flaking? I
flake that.
Why is that flake? Where's the F coming from?
I don't know. Thumbs up.
What are you talking about?
I don't know where it came from. Okay, so also subscribe if you're digging what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you can go to all our social media stuff like Facebook and Twitter. And if you really want to get involved, you can go over to Patreon and make all this continue happening somehow.
Yeah. So, so advertisements over. Questions. I've got a couple of questions here. And these people have asked questions a long time ago, and I'm running short on questions. So if you guys have any general blah questions about us, leave them in the comment section, and I will.
Doesn't even have to be about us.
Yeah, just whatever, whatever stuff.
Why do cats have whiskers?
Why do cats? Because
balance.
No. Well, maybe balance as well.
Oh, it's balance.
No, it's so that at nighttime they can cats have good vision, but also if it's super dark.
It's balanced this way too.
It's so they can feel walls and stuff, or mice, so they can feel mice.
Ah!
How are my whiskers on you? He doesn't have any whiskers.
He doesn't need them.
So anyway, if you have questions, then not cat questions, though I don't really have any cat answers. You can just leave them in the comments, and that'll help me refill my bucket of questions, because I've only got a few left. And one of them was from Facebook. Mark Bohr, B-O-R-E, Bohr, said, what do you do with all the footage that you don't use in your videos? Do you archive any of it, or just delete it all? And honestly, there is very, very little video that we shoot that it gets deleted. I use
this video you're watching right now is going to be one take, and we didn't do other takes, and we're just giving you the raw footage, and we're not going to edit it at all, because that's just what we do.
And I mean, I edit things to make them digestible. I cut off the beginning of the video and the end of the video, and there's a lot of footage that is like when we shoot, usually we'll shoot us explaining something that's going on, and then I shoot a whole bunch of shots of the things we're talking about, and then in the editing process I take and overlay those. I mean, you'll see that happened a whole lot in the footage from the festival that I just did. It was actually really complicated to edit. So you'll see I'm explaining things are being placed over it, and then things are flowing into each other and all that stuff. I mean, so when I edit, that's really what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily taking away content. I do end up with a whole lot of footage of, if we're talking about a temple, for instance, and I'll shoot, that overlay shot of that temple. And then sometimes maybe I'll shoot it 3 or 4 times because I don't know how things are going to time properly, so I do it at different speeds and different motions and stuff. So when I go back and I'm putting it all together, I can choose the correct one, the one I like the most. And I will go back, and the ones that I don't use, those shots that are just of, that temple, the shots I don't use from that, I do delete those. But I do archive everything, every piece that it takes to make one of our videos. So if in the future I needed to rebuild something or whatever, I still have that ability. So we've got these little hard drives that are overflowing with, I've got tons of these little Western Digital hard drives, just overflowing with data. But basically the answer is we don't cut anything. If we should, and some people are like, oh, you should do an outtakes reel and stuff. I don't have that. This doesn't exist.
That's our life.
Yeah, the outtakes reel. That's all you're watching. So, I hope that answers the question and kind of addresses is there outtakes or bloopers and stuff. Sometimes at the end of our videos there'll be something that's just offbeat, something that happened or something. That's what I do. I'll just drop them at the end of the videos and stuff. Just as they're cute, or sometimes in the middle of the video if I just feel like it. So I don't delete anything that is of any substantial content. If it's a forest or something I shot 6 times, I'll delete that one.
What's the second question?
The second question. Was it going on too long? Should I edit this out? I should edit that out and cut it down? Maybe. Do we need to stop this and restart it?
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to need to archive this whole thing.
To the trash can?
To the trash can.
We're not going to do that. Facebook. From Facebook, Debbie Foster says here, here's a question you can answer in future videos. I was curious about driving in foreign countries. I noticed Katie seems to be the only one who drives rental cars, while Eric tends to be the one who drives motorbikes, so it's not always the case. What licensing / laws do you have to deal with to rent each vehicle? Is it easy to rent bikes in other countries? So, I have an American driver's license. And with that, I've got a international permit, which is something you can just get from AAA for like $10. It's really easy. It's not some test you have to take. It's just basically a license translation. And that makes you legally capable of driving, not in every country in the world, but a lot of them. Like cars, even. Like, it doesn't matter. However, some countries don't even require the international permit. You can just drive on an American license, like as a tourist or whatever. And in a lot of countries, they just don't care. Like, if you're driving a car, I think they would care. But like, when you go to Thailand and you want to ride a motorbike, you just like get the motorbike and you rent it and you drive it. Nobody ever looks. Those are the good countries. Yeah, nobody ever looks at your license. So it's like a little, like 150cc motorbike or whatever with 2 people on it. They don't even care. Like, I've never in Malaysia one time, a police officer asked me for my license. All I had was my American license, and he just looked at it and was like, whatever, and just let me go. I've never been questioned about it anywhere else ever. So, when you're driving a little motorbike in countries without strict laws, there really isn't anything to worry about. That said, if you cause an accident or you get hurt or something, you're completely on the line for everything. So if you hurt somebody else's stuff, somebody's going to want money, so be prepared for that. The good news about that is with a small motorbike, while you can cause damage and hurt people, it is somewhat limited. If you're in a car and you hit something, of course, it can be a lot worse of a situation. In Japan, the laws are like rigid, like kind of like they would be in the United States. So I can't drive in Japan on my American license, and I no longer can drive on an international permit, because you can only drive in Japan for 1 year on an international permit.
You can only drive on that international permit for 1 year.
Yeah, that's what I meant, for 1 year.
Yeah, not even just in Japan.
Well, you have to renew the permit. Yeah, but I mean, I got a new permit once because I just sent my dad like the information, and he went to AAA and then mailed it to me. I didn't even go to America for it. So you don't even have to go to AAA personally to do it. Like, you can do it remotely. But anyway, Japan's
remotely through controlling your dad.
Controlling my father. So the reason you'll never see me drive in Japan because I can't legally drive here. Katie went down and got a driver's license in Japan. So whenever we go on trips in Japan, she has a legal Japanese driver's license that we can use, and they check that stuff. And when you have a car, when you rent a car in Japan, like it's like the law is strict. So they check it and they make sure you have a license, and then she can drive the car and all that stuff. And even like a small scooter in Japan and stuff, like you can't do that without, you get in trouble. If you don't have a license, you're gonna get in trouble. So that's why you see her driving cars in Japan, and I never do. But when we go to other countries, I'm a little afraid to ride on the back of a motorcycle. Like,
oh, not even just with me?
Yeah, well, I think with everybody, but with you specifically. You're a little scary. In a car, it's okay. I'm in this cage. It's a little safer, but
I do drive a cage very well.
On a motorbike, it might be a little bit hairy. And I don't know. I just feel like in that case, I'm a better driver. You're a good navigator. It works really good when I'm driving.
I'm a pretty good navigator.
Yeah, so that explains like the driving thing. Do you have any driving input?
Beep beep.
Yeah, it's like your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to rent a car sometime and go
I
drive?
almost rented a car this weekend.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Where were we gonna go?
Out in the rain. I don't know. It wasn't the appropriate weather for it, and it wasn't gonna work out. So I didn't end up renting one. But yeah, I daydream about it basically daily.
All right. I'm out of questions. We need more.
Too.
Yeah, we need more questions.
Yes.
Oh no, I have a question for you. Who is the most talented actor out there that you can think of? Not your favorite actor. Is that how you phrase it? Not your favorite actor. But who is an actor who you think is the most talented?
Yeah, because your favorite actor might suck.
Yeah.
Like a terrible actor, but God, he's really funny because he's so terrible. But no, we want the most talented.
Like the most well-rounded, capable actor that you can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. All right, bye guys.